Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Pithana channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. Christmas could not come early for the Spike Brother faction of Dark States, as we have an extra stream right after Tuesday. And of course, we did get a lot of cards being reviewed for Violence Brews deck. Let's get started. Just today, we actually received 2 cards that was being revealed, which is Introductory Beastmaster Megan. Continuous on rearguard. When you soul charge this turn, this unit gets 2k power. Well, it's kind of pretty much self-explanatory, so it's basically a 12k base rearguard on your opponent's turn and your turn if you do manage to actually soul charge on your opponent's turn. Most likely this is just gonna be a filler card for BT01, as this skill seems not really exciting because it's just a 2k power. Moving on, we have Steam Art Pithana. Active rearguard cost. Put this unit into your soul. Choose one of your units and it gains 2k power until the end of turn. This will actually provide soul resources while also power up one of your unit. I mean, 2k is not a lot, but in order to hit magic number, this can actually make the difference. I see this more of a Barrow Magnus support because it does contributes to the soul count, with Barrow Magnus actually once. All in all, quite good card, but do you really want to run this card? I don't think so. Now we go to the juicy part, which is the final rush support. We have the Gear Chronicle Dragon, Protobulb Dragon. Auto rearguard when this unit attack or boost. If you are in final rush, cost counterblast 1 and put another rearguard into your soul. Choose a card from your soul and put it into your hand. This card, since it's final rush lock, it's very slow because you will only be able to get this on the 4th turn and possibly get something out from the soul. This does recycle one of your on-place rearguard skills cards to the soul in order to get a hand back, which is actually very nice. For the best example that I can give is actually Colossus. Once you call Colossus, if you end that turn, Colossus in the next turn will just be a vanilla because it does not do anything, as his skill is just basically on place. You can actually soul in that Colossus in order to get one hand card, which is actually very nice. Plus, you can also get the Colossus back to your hand and use it for the next turn. This also provides a toolbox option, so whatever is in your soul, you can actually bring it back. That includes Bruce himself if you do Persona right. This skill is very strong. Next, we have Steam Detective Uvaritt. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, choose one of your other units in the same column as this unit and it gets 2k power until the end of turn. If you are in final rush, it gets 5k power instead of 2k power. Now, similar to Steam Artist Pithana, this actually gives one of your rearguards 2k power. Well, with the exception of with this being in final rush, you will get 5k instead. The only difference is that Pithana will need to go into the soul, which means you will -1 in order to give one rearguard plus 2k power, whereas this one is that you do -1 hand, but this unit will actually stay as a rearguard for booster, which is also kind of plus. This can also be a fodder rearguard for Protobulb Dragon to put in soul in order to draw 1, which is something you can think about. All in all, nothing much to really talk about. I mean, this card, since you do not really have any superior calling skills for Dark States. Next is the double R for final rush. Upward Acrobat Marjorie. Auto rearguard once per turn. When this unit attacks, if you are in final rush, put one of your other rearguard into your soul, draw a card, soul charge 1, and this unit gets 10k until the end of turn. When I first saw this card, I was actually thinking, like, why is this card so weird? I don't know, because at that, my first impression is it's kind of weird, the whole aesthetic, but then once I come to play test this card, it's actually very good. But the only downside is that it is very slow because, once again, final rush restriction, so you will only be able to use this card on the 4th turn. This will provide you with soul resources after you use Violence Brews 5 Soul Blast. This card can actually helps you gain 2 soul, which is again very nice. It also helps you recycle a rearguard for a hand, for example Colossus and also Uvaritt. Plus it's also a 23 attacker, I mean a 33 attacker on Persona right turn. Then we have the final member for Diabolos. Diabolos Boys Eden. Continuous rearguard. If you are in final rush, this unit gets 5k power, and if this unit stands this turn by a card effect, critical +1. Auto rearguard. When this unit attacks, hits, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguard and retire it. This card, I can't say thank you enough to Bushura, because when I first started drafting for Violence Brews deck, I actually found myself lacking of grade 2. And when they announced that there is a Diabolos card, I was hoping that this will be a grade grade 2, and thank God it's a grade 2 because we have too many grade 1s at the moment. This unit will be a 15k attacker if you hit Final Rush, and of course he does hit for 2 damage when he restands via Violence Bruise skill. Eden does provide this whole deck with on-hit pressure, which is very nice, and of course you can still use the second skill. If your opponent is rushing you like no tomorrow, you can just call this card, hit the rearguard or hit the vanguard, it's up to you, and you counterblast 1 to retire it, and therefore shutting down a lot of the aggression. All in all, this card is just godsend. And finally, we do have the over trigger for Dark States. Hades Dragon, Deity of Resentment. Gallmageheld. Gallmageheld. I probably butchered that name, whatever. Of course, this has the over trigger, so if whenever you drive check or damage check into this, you may choose 1 unit to gain 100 million power, and if you do drive check into this card, you may activate the additional effect. That additional effect is you get, during your turn, all your Vanguard gets 10k power and 1 crit until the end of this fight, which means forever. Until the game's end, either you die or your opponents die, your Vanguard is gonna hit for extra 10k and 1 crit. Good God. If this card was drive check early and you went second, it's gonna be so devastating for your opponent. And of course, this card is RNG as you only can play 1 card. It does speed up the game a little bit, and with the aggression of Violence Bruise when your Final Rush turn comes, this card is just disgusting. So I actually have a very special segment here, is that the deck build that I have been coming up until the cards that was revealed. As you can see right here, of course most of this consists of the TD stuff, with the exception of Eden and also Protobulb Dragon. Oh, and the Sentinel as well. So the way how this deck works is that during the 4th turn, when you first Persona Ride, you definitely will not be able to kind of end your opponent. So the whole game plan here is to call out 2 Majourney. If you do have Acrobat Presenter and Protobulb, that's also really good. And this rush mechanic will not only push your opponent to 4 or 5 damage, it will also help you replenish soul and also your hand size, because Marjorie actually draws you card and also soul chart. Right after the 4th turn of Final Rush, during the 5th turn of Final Rush, you would actually want to call Colossus to have that final push, which is either Colossus or Eden is also fine, depending on what you can actually get, which is very nice and very deadly. This is my draft for Violence Bruise deck up until this point. So it may change as cards is being revealed, as we still got a bunch of rares and commons left in the BT01. So this is my first draft. Of course, if you can't see the heals and the over trigger, of course the over trigger is only at 1, and of course you have 4 heals. That's it. And that is all for the Dark States update. Do let me know down in the comment, are you really hyped for playing Violence Bruise, or do you want to play Barrow Magnus? For me, I am team Violence Bruise all the ways. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and also don't forget to ring that bell notification so that you will know when I upload a video. And I will see you all on the field.